Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me live today for Sunday Sermon. It is Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. And as always, we're going to ask you to do us a few favors as you jump on here today. Number one, say hello and tell us where you're watching from and drop us a grateful fed in the comments. Last week we had lots of graphics. I did not get a chance to do that today. Time is imaginary, but it definitely got away from me as always. And this is way more fun with friends. I'm live in a couple of places today. I'm live on the TMUnity and YouTube. I am live over in let me get my camera turned here. I'm live over, you can see my wall. I've scratched this chair just like rubs the wall terrible. So maybe I should sit over here like this and talk to y'all today. But we've got a Sunday sermon coming live for you. Hello from Pinellas Park, Florida. We've got did a little Palo Santo this morning to kind of clear the air, to call in my guides and helpers to make me a clear, perfect channel. If you're new here, we're live on my personal page, the Grateful Fed page, the TMUnity. Like I said, we're asking for folks to say hi. Every Sunday morning, I kind of come live here to talk about what's going on in the world, kind of a spiritual motivational talk. We call it Sunday Sermon because it's Sunday morning. We always say whatever words you use, right? Everyone is welcome here. We are all part of one denomination, just the human race and humanity. And whatever words you use, God, source, whatever, Buddha, Allah, whatever it may be, we are of one accord here, one love, right? One love. Hello, Elizabeth, who's back from the Wi-Fi, world of not having Wi-Fi for a minute. We're glad you're back. We're nice to see you. We missed you. Make sure you're tagging friends, saying hello. I know that I've been kind of out there late. I've been kind of outlandishly posting my beliefs, and I have this Sunday sermon was kind of arose out of me doing that. And I want to talk today, and I hope that you will stick around whether you're watching this live or on the replay. I'm glad whenever you're watching this, right? We want to welcome you to this week's Sunday sermon. I've been trying to be more succinct by creating myself like a written script and being more thoughtful because these messages have been coming in hot and heavy. And I have been using a voice dictation to try to take notes and organize my thoughts so that I'm able to not talk around things, be more succinct in my messaging, because I believe people need to speak where people can hear you, and sometimes the rambling and the all over the place and the ooh a squirrel can help me helps lose the audience a little bit. I even put a little makeup on today, not a lot, because I'm super. My eyes have gotten some. I don't know if y'all can see it. I feel like my eyes just always feel swollen and they hurt to touch. So I'm going to make a little doctor's appointment for some eye stuff this week. But other than that, we good. Today, we're talking about something that stops so many of us from moving forward, right? And that is the fear of not knowing the whole path. Can anybody relate to maybe being stuck and feeling like stuck energy? Hello, Norma Jean from Abilene. So last week, we've talked about frequency and vibration. We've talked about power versus force. We've had a lot of different Sunday sermon topics this year so far. And today we are going to address today's topic. If you can see up there, it's the Sunday sermon topic is the courage to step forward. And I have been struggling with courage, and I have really started finding opportunities to my power, to take the deep breaths, to trust and have faith in all those things. We're going to talk about how that looks today. So if you could do me a favor, it helps people find the live. Give me a hallelujah, amen over in the comments, some thumbs up, some hearts, tag a friend, say hello, tell us where you're watching from. We're going to dive in because I try to keep these down to at least no more than an hour. And today we've got Sunday sermon. I have a meditation that I have to read. I've done on my phone. Put that together to kind of help us ground this energy in at the end. And then we're going to have our crystal affirmation cards. Hello, Sarah Dietrich. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about this, right? So, again, I'm trying to stay more succinct and on message. So, whether you're watching this live or a replay, I welcome you. Please comment, be involved in the conversation. We'll come back and comment on those things. But today, we're talking about, like I said, something that stops so many of us from moving forward, and that is the fear of not knowing the plan, the whole path, the outcome, the fear of the unknown, right? We get stuck waiting for the full roadmap, for certainty, for everything to be perfect before we make a move. But life doesn't work like that, right? Can everybody attest that life does not work like that? Even if you plan and you know and you think you know, none of us really truly know until we take that step forward, right? And sometimes exactly what I just said is all you need to know is just what the next step is. And so many of us stay stuck in energy, stay stuck in jobs, stay stuck in places we do not belong because we are afraid. And that's all it is fear, right? And that brings me to today's opening quote. And I've done the work versus me making up the name of the book. I pulled it out. I've got it all in the right order. So brings me to today's opening quote. Today's opening quote is from the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charles Mackesy. So if you're looking for that book and you want to, I pull a lot from it. And this specific quote has been the one that has really been my one that I pulled from. But the book's got a lot of good lessons in it, right? There, in the book, there's a moment where the boy is lost and overwhelmed. And he's on the back of the horse. And he says to the horse, I can't see a way through this. The horse responds, can you see your next step? Yes. Then just take that, the horse says. That's it. That's it. It's as simple as that. That's all we need sometimes, right? All we need sometimes is the courage to take the next step. We don't need the courage for the entire journey. We don't need the courage to get to the final destination. We just need the courage and the ability to take that next step, right? The fear, it's the fear that keeps us stuck. And I've been saying this from the beginning of the year for a while now, that things kind of come from two places, right? Fear or love. Fear's keeping you stuck. Good morning, everybody. It's the fear that keeps us stuck. There's this street out in California. I think it might be San Diego or San Francisco. Somebody tell me it's the street that's got the curves, right? It's a real steep hill, because I'm country and I can't say the word hill. Hill. It's curvy and it's down a slope. And, we talk about momentum, right? And how if like the car starts rolling down the hill, if you get in front of it at the top of the hill before it starts making its way down, you can stop the momentum. But here's the thing, right? So usually when I talk about this example, we're talking about before stinking thinking takes hold, before like the ball rolls downhill, you can stop the momentum at the top of the hill. But think about this, right? All it takes for the car to get to the bottom of the hill, all it takes for that, just a little nudge, just to start moving. And there's an ability for that momentum to pick up speed, right? And when you look at these examples we have given in the past, like about the car rolling down the hill and stopping the momentum of stinking thinking, sometimes you just need that little nudge to start getting yourself going. And that little bit of nudge to get yourself going, the momentum behind that can lead you to a beautiful end of your journey, a beautiful end of your destination, a beautiful, the next step may have led you to the thing that's just the biggest blessing ever, right? So the fear is the fear that's what keeps us stuck. But how many times in your life have you felt frozen like that, right? How many, can you speak to that? Like how many people out there, if you've got an example, I'd love to hear it. As always, if anybody is a conversation, I have a script today, but it's always about community and conversation. So if somebody would like to come on and give an example of a time they felt frozen or a time that they felt fear and they couldn't take the step, I'd love to have you come on here and talk with me about this. You can click the link. It'll bring you into the studio. It's backstage. I can chat with you offline and then bring you in and then all the things, right? So anyway, if you'd like to come on and talk, you're more than welcome. It's in the comments on YouTube and there on Facebook. You can just click that link. It should bring you right over to StreamYard. And we'd love to have you on. So, we talk amongst ourselves, right? So let me take a little sip of my drink, get my energy centered. That got me excited. So again, how many people out there can say there's been a time in their life where they know that they've been stuck, not being able to move forward, not being able to take that next step, not having the courage to do the next thing? I am going to say that I have been feeling that way, and I will talk about that in a minute. We're going to get through this, and we're going to talk about it from a real life perspective and what my goal is with today's message, right? Maybe you had a big decision, a calling, an opportunity, but you hesitated because you didn't know how it would all turn out, right? You didn't listen to that gut feeling. I've told y'all a million times, like whenever you pray, you're speaking to God, right? You're sitting in prayer and you're going to God with your, your thank you, God, for all you've done for me. And you maybe the Lord's Prayer, or you're asking, you're going to God in an ask usually. Like a prayer is like if you're sending prayers up for somebody's healing, you are speaking to God, universe, source, whatever the words are, right? And you're saying, hey, this is the ask. Right, this is the ask. This is the thing. This is the negotiation I'm trying to give you here. Sometimes I always joke, like my biggest time of prayer is like, God, if you get me off this roller coaster, I'll never get back on one. Please, Lord, please, Lord. Like I will pray on a roller coaster. Like I go into full Pentecostal mode on a roller coaster. But you go to God in the ask. And I feel like sometimes in meditations, when you sit in silence and you listen for the answers, God will come to you and you can say to God, hey, I'm sitting here in this moment, I'm clearing my mind, and I'm asking you to come in and give me the guidance and the answers I need to do your will, like to be in flow, to be in alignment, to be, I want to have the answers on what's the next step. Like, what do I do next, right? So if you're struggling with that frozen stuff, that's an opportunity maybe to sit with yourself and to ask for that courage, ask for that next positive step, ask for that opportunity, that calling, right? And so, but it's still going to be you having the courage to act upon what you hear, act upon the thing that your gut tells you to do, right? That need you have for certainty, I'm going to tell you right now, that is just fear in disguise. So if you maybe have like asked God for the thing, like, God, give me this opportunity. I am asking you that if you provide me with this job offer, just as an example, just throwing something out here, a job offer, and then you sit in meditation, and God's like, think about like the pros and cons. God gives you the sign like they're going to offer it to you. You should take it. The job is offered to you, and then you're scared to leave that toxic place because you don't know if you're jumping from the fire or the kettle to the fire. And that is just fear in disguise. And sometimes we call fear, that's personality, body, ego. And that's just that thing trying to keep you small, right? Fear, ego wants to keep you small. It wants to make you hesitate. It wants you to I want you to believe that you're not ready. Imposter syndrome, all of those things, right? All of those like those doubting Thomases, all those things you hear that you can't do it. You're not worth it. You can't do these things. They're never going to like you. Maybe it's a relationship. Oh, they're playing you. Your fear of maybe being hurt again. All of that. Fear wants you to stay right where you are, right? Because that's ego working with fear to keep you safe. Because if you don't put nothing ventured, nothing gained, but nothing ventured, nothing lost, right? But I want you to know you are ready right now in this moment. Every single one of us. You don't need all the answers. We don't need to see the whole path. We just need to take the next right step. What is the next right step, right? So stepping into our power with that, right? Maybe that's the fear. Like, what is the next right step? Like, maybe that's the question that just came into your mind. Can anybody say that that's the question? Like, maybe I don't even know what the next right step is. Right? How many people, like, that's a hallelujah amen moment for you, right? Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about power for a minute, right? Let's talk about that stepping into your power. And we know that power is not the kind of power that's about controlling or authority, but the personal power that comes from trusting yourself, listening to your instincts, and taking action even when it's scary. Because you know the next right step. That's where the sitting in the meditation, that's where the listening to the universe, looking for the signs, that's where being in tune with your higher self, this is where that comes into play. Okay. So there's this quote that I love from Theodore Roosevelt. I'm all about like finding things from the past that make things pop in that I find or see or whatever that kind of create these moments of like, oh, I'm in tune. The universe is speaking to me. This is the, you know what I'm saying? So look for these things. But there's this quote I love from Theodore Roosevelt. It says, do what you can with what you have where you are. That's all you can do. Do what you can with what you have from where you are. Comparison is a thief of joy. If you look next door and say, well, this person's doing this, and that on this side, this person's doing this, and all I can do is this, all you are being asked to do in this whole world is what you can with what you have where you are. And we have to understand that people are operating in this world what they have where they are. So when we keep being pissed off at our neighbors, when we have all these crazy debates online with people who we grew up with or we were related to or whatever, and we just don't understand it, they're doing the best with what they have, where they are, and what they can. And it's a reminder that we don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. We just have to start with what we have right now. And we build from there. So we know where we're starting with, right? We're talking to people. We're trying to build community. We're trying to, this is for me, this is the thing we're bringing into real things. We have to recognize that they're doing the best they have with what they can. But yelling at people and telling them they're wrong and this is not right and all the things we want to do, all those things we've been programmed and trained to do, maybe saying, hey, why don't you come over and sit down and let's have a cup of coffee and some muffins at the table and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what the fear is, what the next proper step is, and how do we operate in this world together as community and together as a human race and as one love, right? I'm digressing, right? But do what you can with what you have where you are. It's a reminder that you don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. You just have to start with what we have. We just have to start with what we have right now. Because here's the truth. Here's the God's honest truth of it. You already have everything you need to take the next step. You already know deep down what you should do. You already have the strength inside of you to move forward in whatever situation it is. We can sit there and we hide behind excuses. We hide behind fear. We hide behind all of these things. But if you have something going on in your life right now, which is a big move forward, make a move kind of thing, every single one of us that are dealing with that, I promise you, it's not extra pressure or anything, but you have everything you need to take the next step. You already know deep down what you should do, and you already have the strength inside of you to move forward. You just have to trust yourself to act on it. Period. You just have to trust yourself enough to act on it. We all know that. Whatever we're dealing with, maybe it's family shit, we know what we need to do, but sometimes it's easier not to. Sometimes it's fear holds us. What is the repercussions? We start thinking of every scenario. But if you sit down and get to it, get in your journals this week. If this message is resonating with you, if you're feeling some kind of weird way about this message, you're like, hey, this might be for me today. I know that this is something I'm journaling about right now. That's why this message came up. A lot of things are moving pieces and parts, but get in your journal. Ask yourself, right? Say, I already have everything I need to take the next step, and the next step is, and just start free writing. You'll be amazed at what source, universe, God will just give you if you just ask. Just write it out, right? Already know deep down what you should do. Like I know what I should do, and what I'm going to do is blah, blah, blah. It's just a piece of paper. Even if you just get it out of your head and write it down, maybe just seeing it on paper will help you to start making moves towards that. Right? It's just the next step. It's just what I already know deep down what I should do. What's the next step? You already have the strength inside of you to move forward, right? And you just have to trust yourself enough to act on it. With number 3, I would affirm I have the strength to move forward, and I am trusting myself, and I'm trusting my instincts, right? Just say those things out loud. Those words matter, right? Letting it hit the air, right? Exactly, Corinne. Letting it hit the air. Let it hit the air. Now, what's some of the reasons we stay in fear? Failing, right? Failing. Now, this next little part of this Sunday sermon, right, is about failing forward and the power of mistakes, right? Failing forward and the power of mistakes. Let's talk about it. I, for the longest time, had this little sticky note up here. It was like, so what if I fail? So what if I fail? I did intensive therapy over the last two, I would say therapy, I would say intensive, like energy work with a spiritual healer and I would call it more like a life coach or a performance coach that I worked with twice a month. And one of the things she said to me was like, so what? What's the worst thing that can happen? What are you so afraid of? And I'm like, failure. Like, too many things depend on me. I don't want to, like, this matters to me. And she's like, okay, so what if you fail? So what if you fail? Like, put that in a journal. Like, what happens if you fail? Like, what is this like end all be all like scenario if you fail? Like, if it goes away tomorrow, put it out and think, like, you're holding on to all this, like you're seeing like the world blowing up. It's like, if your little catering business fails, not that it's, if that little thing fails, in the grand scheme of the world, write it down. And so let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about failure, because that's where I got stuck. So many people get stuck in fear of failure, right? It's fear of failure, right? That's the thing that's going to keep us stuck. That's what fear is telling us. You're going to fail. You're not going to do it, right? We're taught to fear failure. We're taught to do it, to see it as something bad, right? Failure is you're failed. It's like on your report card, you're a failure, right? We taught that. But I'm going to ask Corinne and anybody to work with me and interacted with me. Failure is proof that you're trying. And I will say this, the people that work with me, I am a perfectionist. And if they're not doing it right, I will say, stop, let's talk about this. And Corinne, I think that's probably, I'm going to say it's one of my superpowers, is being able to say, hey, I'm going to fuss about this. You did not do it right. It's not a failure because you didn't know any better, right? I'm not mad. Like, nobody's mad that you did not do it. And that like, if you're looking at like the thing about it, like, did they fail at the task? No. They learned. There's a saying that we used to use. I used to use all the time in my multi-level marketing days. Like, you either earn or you learn. And if you're lucky, you do both. Right? Exactly. Right? I'm like, how do you know? Like, sometimes also I'm like, let's do it this way. And that was the plan. Nobody failed, but the end result was not the thing we wanted it to be. So we're like, that's not how I wanted it to look. Let's regroup and redo it. Right? That's it. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Right? Failure is not the opposite of it. It's the part of it. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there without failing, without messing up, without hitting roadblocks, right? That's exactly my saying around here, right? When you know better, you do better. And I always say, like, if you do something that's like a mistake or like a wrong way or not the way that I'm going to say, I don't even want to use the word wrong, like not the way that I would, that's not the way I would have done it, But, sorry, sometimes you got to adjust. I say to Corinne, I'm like, hey, we've talked about this, and I bet you don't make this mistake. I bet you we don't do this again, right? I bet you we don't do this exactly. You fail forward, right? You fail forward. They fail forward. You learn from mistakes. You get back up, you adjust, and you keep moving. I mean, I learned, and I, if you were going to judge a failure, I feel like I failed at being a food truck owner. I've struggled with that, and I've struggled with my relationship with that, and how I don't bring that into the next thing. I have debriefed it. I have broken it down. I have played it over and over again. I've learned, like, where are the places that I failed over the last couple of years, and again, where are the places that I can get back up, adjust, and keep moving from. We every day we come into this building, or every day I get up and operate in the world from a relationship standpoint of being a better wife, a better stepmom or mom, grandparent, sister, aunt, friend, employer, citizen, Rotarian, whatever I'm involved in. Every day my goal is to just get up and be a little bit better than I was yesterday. right? A little bit more authentically myself. I try every day to operate in the world as my best self. And not every day do I get up knowing what the end of the day is going to look like, but every day I get up and I do my spiritual work. I try to stay in flow if I can. Not every day does it work. Some days just you're the windshield, some days you're the bug, like my sister said. But every day, if you get up with the intentionality and the courage and the power in yourself to say, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to do the very best I can do. And I'm going to, at the end of the night, I'm going to thank the world, the universe, God, whatever, for all the things, even the things that I didn't do right, because I learned something today, right? I learned what not to do today. All of those things are happening for you, not to you, right? All of those things are happening for you, not to you. And if we didn't do that, we would just stay stagnant. And sometimes failure is going to teach you a lot more than success is, right? So if you're afraid of failing, let me ask you this. What if failing is exactly what you need to succeed? I do not believe, without an inkling of my mind, that the things that I have failed at in the last are not done to the level at which I wanted to do them. I believe they have brought me and they've made me the person I am. And every day they build me into a better leader, and all the things I talked about. And I think that y'all can attest to that too. Maybe as new parents, right? When you first get in, as you do it, like maybe the second or third, you're like, I'm a pro at this now, right? So those mistakes and those lessons are the things that we need to make us the best versions of ourselves, right? It's like alpha and beta testing the new updates. You just got to keep doing it, right? And so what if those lessons, the lesson, the growth, and the breakthrough that you've been waiting for, right? If you're still stuck and scared to move forward because you're afraid of failure, but what if the lesson, the growth, the breakthrough you have been waiting for is on the other side of the mistake you're afraid to make? What? That's some drop the mic stuff. And I thought I saw my girl here. Yes, I have missed this thing a lot. Right. And I know that she can attest to this when making decisions. Her and I have talked, her daughter just moved back into like a childhood home. She was afraid of that being a mistake. It didn't end up being a mistake. Her and I can talk about these things. I'm just using that as an example, right? Look at what did Corinne do? What did she look, mind blowing, right? What if the lesson, the growth, and the breakthrough you've been waiting for is on the other side of the mistake that you are afraid to make? All right. Mind blowing, right? Mind blowing. The power of one voice, one action. Now let's bring this back to the bigger picture. Right now in the world, in this world specifically, whatever timeline you're on, right? It's easy to feel like one person can't make a difference. The energy right now, the frequency, the vibration in this world, the energy outside is very, very, very dense to me. It feels very heavy. And I have really been hibernating away from it. And that has been my calling. That has been something the universe has told me to do. A lot of us have been hibernating. There's a reason internets are out. There's a reason why people are disconnected and trying to gather their energy right now. It's because it's very overwhelming and it's very scary. And the fear is there. I want to know honestly and truthfully, and if you don't feel like commenting, I get it. Yes or no. Are you a little afraid right now to live in the world we're living in? And I know we shouldn't live in fear, and we should not be afraid. And that is what provoked my meditation. Yesterday was a big, deep meditation day. I was in my bed at 4:00 doing breath work and feeling very uneasy on my feet. And I connected using, help. And this message came in big, and some other things that I'm, callings and things that is very nerve-wracking to me and very scary for me to get involved in and to be very vocal about, considering that I am a small business owner in a small town. And sometimes riding the fence and trying to stay very neutral is the easiest thing to do. But we see so much division, negativity, and struggle. And it's tempting to think, what can I do? I am just one person. But history has shown us over and over and over again, talk about that little nudge, right? That one person, one voice, one action can start a movement. Think about Rosa Parks, and I'm saying this, think about Rosa Parks. She was one woman on a bus who decided not to move. That one decision sparked a movement that changed history. I want you to think about Greta Thunberg. She was just a teenage girl who was holding a sign up outside of her school, and that one action turned into a global climate change movement. Every big change starts small. It starts with one person who decides to act. You do not have to have a huge platform. You do not have to be famous. You just have to be willing to stand up and do something. So today, I want you, all of you, to think about this. What are you being called to step up to? What is one thing that you can do this week to make an impact in the world? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something, because small actions done consistently change lives. It's those million little micro moves of a nudge in the right direction. I am asking for anyone, and I'm not asking for what you would consider snowflakes or liberals or whatever. I'm asking for the American people, no matter what state you're in. The more states, the better. No matter what your whatever your ballot looked like, I don't care. But we, the people of the United States of America, have got to come back together as one. And we have to say no more. No more corporate greed, no more any of that stuff. And I've sat in this energy of complaining. I've sat in this energy of, have you seen this? I've sat in this energy of watching people argue back and forth on social media about what's happening in our country. Yesterday was the last straw for me. This is the thing that I've been so afraid to speak and say. It's scary. Like, I don't know that if this, whatever this is getting ready to happen, which universe has said it's a movement, I'm not going to be the person taking it to the finish line. I know that. I'm not a political operative. I don't know how to move, but I know that over the last 8 to 12 years, there's been a movement on the underbelly of our democracy, of the people who have had power, no matter what side they're on. No matter what side they're on, their side is the 1% versus the rest of us. And there's a lot more of us than there are of them. And they have done such an amazing job at utilizing social media, influencing Hollywood, the media, every tool at their disposal for subliminal messaging, for keeping us divided, for having us mad at each other, for building this agenda of us versus them in the country. And what I'm asking for with the movement of We the People, it is not a thing about this or that or this and that and the other. It is a thing about, we all have our beliefs on how we want to raise our family. And I believe that you have the belief of how you want to raise your family, and that should be protected as an American citizen. But your goal to take care of your family should not impede upon my belief system of my family. And I believe if we sit down as a country and we come together as We the People, and we create this robust conversation, we start saying there's a lot more that we can do having conversations at kitchen tables and in libraries and at picnics and in places where we gather together as community, at Little League fields, all these things where we can have a civil conversation about the things that are really happening and stop defending either side of the aisle that is doing nothing more in Washington, D.C. than padding their own pockets and their own special interest groups. There's not a human person alive and living in this country right now that is seeing what is happening with the firing of our military, with the invasion of our government buildings and stuff, but no one is as brave enough to, if they're on that side, to say, hey, Maybe there should be something that we do. Maybe we should put the brakes on this because they are bullies. I don't want to say they, it's them. I believe that the people in power in general, right? The people who want power. So I have been sitting with an outline of a movement for a minute. And I have not, I mean, this is probably more than the last 4 years. When I moved back here in 2020, I knew that there was something that I was being called to, and I'm learning, and I'm failing forward, and I'm learning it, and we need to sit down with people and explain and have conversations with people, speak so they can hear us, speak so we can hear each other. Learn that, if you want to homeschool your kids, and there should be a way for you to do that in a way that it benefits society, that you get to have the call with that. There's got to be protections and regulations in place, but there's got to be some civil accord to how we do it. And I think that pulling people from all walks of life to something that is about community and about empowering and about really just kicking corporate greed, and realizing that as a capitalist country, we still have to be capitalists with ethics, and recognizing how do we balance that. And this is not something that's going to happen in poof change overnight, but is about the nudge, and at least the momentum is going. And God said is like, it just takes somebody saying, hey, I'm willing to be involved, to start that momentum going. And that's why I made the post yesterday. Right? So today, let's make a commitment, right? We're committing to trusting ourselves and to taking action, to move forward, even when it's scary, because just saying this out loud on social media scares me. Like, I know I'm just a rando in Farmville, Virginia, that they probably never know about, but you just never know these days, and it makes me a little nervous. And I didn't know if I would be able to even talk about it. And it's a brief little thing at the end. If you're interested in talking about it more, I'm here. I'm going to create a little flyer I can send to people about the idea of it and who wants to get involved. I need people, you can do what you can where you are with what you have. And a lot of people don't feel that they can make a difference in the world and that nothing's going to change. And the thing that I said years ago, and it keeps ringing again, it's like everybody has been programmed to believe they can't make a difference, so nobody even tries to. In a very grassroots kind of way. I was read the other night, and I said, if everybody gets $5,000 check, we should all take the $5,000 check, and we should all put it together and come together as one group and create our own political party with enough, however many billions of dollars that would be across the entire United States, to be able to have like the part of the stimulus party and use the stimulus money to like take back control of DC and let it be of the people, by the people, for the people again, and not just a certain group of people, but all people. And all people need to understand that there's enough abundance in this world that you don't need your neighbor to have less for you to have more. That you're richer when everybody is doing well. And that's the America that I want to live in. And I hope that you do too. And if you're interested in being a part of that movement, I would love to talk to you. Because I'm going to tell you what, growth never happens in comfort zones. So if you're ready to fail forward, if you're ready to stand in your power, and all those things, if you don't need to see the whole path, just the next step. You don't need permission to act. Your instincts are enough, and you don't need to be perfect, just willing, because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it, right? It's moving forward despite it. And we're going to do a brief meditation this morning, if you're with me for it. And then we are going to pull our crystal affirmation card, and we're right on time. We should be right on time. So I am going to ask you all to get comfortable where you're sitting. Find yourself, if you're not driving and you can, be comfortable. I'd love for you to be a part of this. It's just a quick little meditation to kind of to lock in the energy of this. It's a meditation for standing in courage and in truth. So if you're there, if you want to, I'm going to take myself, I'm going to put an overlay on me. That way I don't have to, you've got to look at me talking. We're going to do a little overlay and make sure you can still hear me on the overlay. What's a good overlay, y'all? What do you think we should put up there? Let's put, that's a background. We're going to put a little, let's put a little, let me pull this down a little bit. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? You hear that? I gotta leave myself in here, but I gotta put an overlay up. Just put some food up. Food always looks good. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. Let me go over to. Here we go. Let's go over here. I'm giving y'all a moment to get comfortable, to get situated, to get yourself together. Find a space that you're comfortable in. First of all, look at me. How about that? How about just look at me? Can y'all hear the music okay? Okay. You hear me too good. Okay. If we can all together take a deep breath in through your nose, slow and deep. Then a big deep exhale. Take that deep breath in through your nose on a 4 count. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth with a sigh. Take a few more deep breaths in. Every time breathing in the light, the love. Exhaling out anything that no longer serves you. And as you relax to your natural breathing rhythm, I want you to feel yourself grounding into this moment. Releasing any tension, any outside noises, any distractions. With each breath, let go of the weight of the outside opinion, the pressure to choose sides, the illusion that you must choose one form or another. Breathe in strength. Breathe out doubt. Breathe in clarity. Breathe out confusion. Now bring your awareness to the center of your chest, your heart space. Imagine a warm, golden light just glowing there. Steady, unwavering, and true. Set with this warm light in your heart. This light is your inner knowing. This light is your inner courage. Your ability to stand firmly in what is right, beyond distractions and beyond fear. Feel this light expanding with every breath, filling you with the strength to speak and act with integrity, the strength to see through illusion and to hold space for truth. You are not here to be swayed by the noise of the world. You are here to stand firm in wisdom. You have the ability to see clearly and to move forward with confidence. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Let's take one more deep breath in. Feel that power anchoring within you. And exhale, knowing that you carry the strength within you. Just always have the strength within you. I'm going to ask you all to stay in this meditative state as we prepare our crystal affirmation card today. Taking those breaths of courage to hear a message today. And I'm asking the angels, the gods, and the helpers to continue to bless me today. Asking God to come in and make me a clear and perfect channel messenger for the message that I'm supposed to be bringing forth today. That the crystal affirmation card will be to the benefit of the collective seeing this now or in the future. And today's card is labradorite, and it's See the Magic. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Focusing on the blue energy of the labradorite. There is magic all around you. If you lift your gaze from your everyday path, you will find it around every corner. It is in the beauty of a rainbow, the mystery of the stars, a hug from a friend, and the innocence of a child's laugh. I want you to take a deep breath in right now. I want you to feel the wind on your face, the air in the room that you're in. And I want you to bring yourself back to the present. You can open your eyes and become back present here in this moment. And as the labradorite card says, as we open our eyes, we should see the many miracles along life's journey. We want to be a participant in the world around us. We want to believe in the divine timing. We want to put our full trust into life's plan. We are exactly where we are meant to be. Take a look around you, and you'll find your North Star guiding the way toward your destiny. This is a beautiful card for today, and I think a perfect addition to today's message. Our core questions are our journal entries for today. And I've cut the music so y'all can kind of come back into the place and see the comments again. Our core questions for our journal, and I'm hoping that if Heather's able to, if she doesn't mind, putting the crystal affirmation card into our group this week for Hometown Hippie. It's usually over there every week. And the core questions are, if you could make a wish, what would you wish for? Right? And if you're struggling with the thing that you're being held back from in fear, this is a great question. What would you wish for? That's the thing that fear is holding you from doing. What is the last sign you received to let you know you are on the right path? So this card is beautiful. It's saying for you to be cognizant of the magic around you, to know that you have that power to not operate from fear, but to fail, be okay, and understand that we fail forward, and fear is the opposite. It's not the fear is the opposite, or what did I say? Fear is the mistake. I had it all written down. It's a beautiful little quote there. What do we say? Where's it at? Fear My brain doesn't want to work. What if the lesson, the growth, the breakthrough you've been waiting for is on the other side of the mistake that you're afraid to make? Fear is holding you back, right? Courage is not acting in the absence of fear, but it's making movement even though you were afraid, right? And understanding that the universe, God, source is always going to give you the answer you need, and the you're going to signs that's going to speak to you. You're going to know exactly. Just listen to your instinct. You've got everything inside you need. And our crystal affirmation this week is: there's magic all around supporting me. There's magic all around. And I say that the more energy you give those affirmations, the more power they have. With, like Corinne said, you let it hit the air with like power, right? The dark wants us to divide, and we need to bring the light. Yep. And even this says this, Heather. It's so funny. It says right here, right? The magic is in a stranger's smile. And when somebody, and I want you to think about like your relationship to that, right? Where you are the magic in the universe because you understand the power of one. And every day, Heather might go out and open the door and smile at a stranger, and they may be looking for this and say, hey, I saw the magic today and this lady smile at the store. She held the door and smiled for me. I was having a shit day, and I asked God, like, are people awful and terrible? Give me a sign that they're not. And the next person I interacted with was Heather, and she held the door and smiled for me. Do you see how that the micro moves? Like, you may be somebody else's blessing tomorrow or today, and you just don't realize it. There's been so many days that I've done a Sunday sermon or posted something silly or just messaged somebody, and weeks, months, sometimes in the moment, I'll say like, hey, you're on my mind. I just want you to say you're amazing and I hope you're doing well. And they're like, you have no idea how much I needed that. Like, thank you. And so it's just like, even when you hear those, like, you start acting on those little small things from God, those little small pushes, you'll find that, like, anything you do for 20 a day kind of changes your brain chemistry. You'll learn how to be more effective in moving in, to listening to your instincts, seeing the signs. Like, I've been looking, but I've seen every double. 222. Yesterday was a portal day. The universe was very open to me. It's my angel number. It's 222 day. I was very, very, very. The amount of voice notes and journal entries and things that I have from this weekend are going to fuel us for a little while, right? So you're affirming today, there's magic all around supporting me. Today, pay attention to the signs from the universe that show up in your life, letting you know you're exactly where you need to be. So again, as we end today, we're going to remember a couple of things, right? As you step into your week ahead, remember, you don't need to see the whole path, just the next step, like I was saying. You don't need permission to act. Your instincts are enough. You don't need to be perfect, just willing. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite of it. And I want to thank all of you all, and we did it 53 minutes today, right, for tuning in. I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. And as we always end this live, we're going to do so with a little peace, a little love, and a little feast, everybody. And as always, stay elevated. Until next time, I'm Tammy. I'll see y'all soon.